Russia is running out of soldiers. According to South Korea's spy agency, Putin has secretly signed a deal with North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, that grants him 12,000 North Korean soldiers in his war against Ukraine.
So, we know about 10,000 soldiers of North Korea that they are preparing to send fight against us. And here we see this first step in this war, and this is the first step to a world war. Of course, it's understandable.
This is not the first time Putin has hired mercenaries to fight his wars. In May 2023, Putin revealed that the Wager mercenary group was fully funded by the state and received up to $1 billion in salaries and bonuses alone. However, his decision to buy soldiers from North Korea, a country heavily sanctioned by the UN and NATO, has raised several questions. What did Russia give North Korea in exchange for military help? How will NATO respond? And will this alliance mark the start of the next World War? Although Putin has refused to admit that Russia is currently losing the war against Ukraine, a recent graph revealed that as of May 2024, Russia has suffered a military loss of 469,000 troops. Over years, the war has spanned. Putin has done everything he can to entice the people of Russia to volunteer their support in the battle. From propaganda to offering up to $15,000 to anyone that enlists, Putin has tried it all.
Since last summer, one-off payments for signing up have almost doubled. In some regions, new recruits are offered as much as 1.5 million rubles. That's almost $17,000, nearly 3 times the average yearly salary.
However, despite these incentives, many Russians have refused to enlist. And after the mass mobilization in 2022, many potential conscripts reportedly fled the country. Fast forward to the 18th of June, 2024, and Putin would visit North Korea for the first time in 24 years. Back then, there were many speculations as to Putin's reason for his trip to see Kim Jong-un, but no one knew for certain. Until October 22nd, 2024, when the South Korean intelligence agency revealed the true intentions of Putin's visit.
According to Seoul's spy agency, North Korea has already shipped around 1,500 Special Forces troops to Russia's Far East for training. It estimates around 12,000 soldiers will eventually help Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Shortly after, a video of North Korean soldiers being transported to Far East Russia soon became public.
Footage of North Korean soldiers in Russia has appeared on Telegram channels. This is the first video that could confirm reports of them being sent to war in Ukraine.
This was followed by multiple North Korean soldiers at Russian training camps. While some might think Putin's decision to hire North Korean soldiers might be due to a shortage of military personnel, this is quite far from the point. Russia has significantly more soldiers than North Korea. It is estimated that Russia has a staggering 3.57 million military personnel, while North Korea has some 1.28 million active military personnel. But it's important to know that, unlike the Russian army, the North Koreans have no recent combat experience. So why would Putin go to North Korea for help? Well, some people believe Putin is afraid to mobilize Moscow and St. Petersburg population, as it can give a big hit for his reputation and maybe even the collapse of the regime. So instead, he went for a cheaper alternative.
Pretty sure that the Russian president doesn't want to mobilize Russian citizens, and instead of that, he thought, why not go to one of the most democratic countries in the world, North Korea, and ask them for a few thousand soldiers to do some dirty work for him.
To further cover up this act, the North Korean soldiers involved were given Russian documents so that if they were ever captured by the Ukrainians, they wouldn't be able to say that North Korea is involved in the conflict.
Footage released online purports to show North Korean troops being given Russian gear and uniforms. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling on allies to step up sanctions on Moscow.
But why is North Korea so enthusiastic to help Russia? As highlighted by the Republic of Korea's UN ambassador, In exchange for this support, North Korea could likely ask for nuclear support from Moscow.
North Korea will expect a generous payoff from Moscow in return for its troop contribution. It could be either military or financial assistance. It could be nuclear weapons-related technology.
If North Korea were to get its hand on nuclear technology, it could pose a big threat to South Korea, as both countries have not been in good relations since the end of the Korean War. But beyond the financial assistance or nuclear weapons, Russia and North Korea share a resentment for Western influence along with a dark history. They are also both heavily sanctioned by the UN and NATO, so this is a strategic alliance. But just when Putin thought he had gotten away with hiring North Korean soldiers to fight his war, South Korea issued stern warning. And if backed by the UN, this could bring about another Cold War. According to Yonhap News Agency, one of the largest news networks in South Korea military is fully ready to respond and plans to send military and intelligence personnel to Ukraine to analyze North Korean battle tactics and assist in interrogation of captured North Koreans. Up until this point, many Western countries have requested that South Korea, being one of the world's biggest weapon exporters, offer arms to Ukraine. However, South Korea refused, fearing this could prompt Russia to expand military ties with North Korea, a country that seeks advanced weapons to destroy Seoul. However, with this new development, it seems like South Korea might support Ukraine after all. To fully understand why Seoul is scared of the alliance, it's important to know the history between both nations. After World War II, Korea was divided along the 38th parallel, with the North falling under Soviet influence and the South under US influence. But in June 1950, North Korean troops, supported by Soviet military aid and strategy, invaded South Korea, aiming to unify the peninsula under communist rule. In response to the invasion, the US, under the United Nations mandate, rapidly mobilized forces to defend South Korea. American troops, alongside other UN forces, helped stop the North Korean advance, particularly through significant battles like the Incheon Landing. Throughout the war, the Soviets provided substantial support to North Korea in terms of weapons, military advisors, and air support. For a while, the Soviets had the upper hand. However, the intervention by the US helped in preventing South Korea's collapse. The war ultimately ended in a stalemate in 1953, with Korea remaining divided along the original boundary. In a quest to prevent this ever happening again, South Korea has been monitoring North Korea and Russian activities. And just like South Korea, NATO has also disapproved of the alliance, stating that the sending of North Korean troops to Ukraine would mark the start of a significant escalation. Although Russia has denied the allegations of North Korean troops in their military, the leaked videos and picture evidence has exposed their lies. And with pressure on NATO and the UN to act quickly and stop Russia, it's uncertain how wide this war might spread.